Hey, it's Enigma Hood here. I'm going to talk a little bit about cults today. And I'm going to compare them to Christianity and see if Christianity is a cult or not. I've been studying a little bit about cults recently, and I want to talk about two different cults. The People's Temple, which was led and founded by the motherfucker Jim Jones, and the Aum Shinrikyo, which was led by Shoko Asahara. People's Temple was founded in America. Aum Shinrikyo was founded in Japan. Okay, the notoriety surrounding the People's Temple was this motherfucker Jim Jones began a cult. At the time, they don't call these things cults, of course. They call them new religious movements. It's a new religion that comes up. It's different from the mainstream. And when we call something a cult, it is a religion, a small religion which is outside mainstream religions. It's new, it's different. The People's Temple was based on Christianity and a few other things, I think. But it had some good, so-called good beliefs at the time about racial integration and things like that. But eventually, it led to the deaths of over 900 people. Over 900 people. Basically, Jim Jones was obsessed with power, and he wanted more. And so he moved, at the place where he was, where the temple was, there was pressure from the public. People didn't like the things that he was doing. So he moved his entire temple down to South America and founded something called Jonestown. So it was centered all around him. And the things that he was doing in Jonestown was abusing his followers. He was beating them. He was raping them. He was forcing them to do manual labor. He was forcing them to give him money. All kinds of terrible things. And eventually, some of the family members of his temple were concerned. Family members back in the States were very concerned. They didn't know what was going on. They wanted to find out. So they appealed to a congressman. And the congressman came down to investigate. And when he came, at first things were okay. And he said, looks like people are getting along here and everything's on the up and up. But then some of the family members passed him some notes saying, get us out of here. We're being held here against our will. Please help us. And the congressman said to Jim Jones, you got to let these people out. These people want to go. And Jim Jones, he didn't want to let them go. But on the surface, he said he agreed to it. He said, if these people want to get out of here, get the hell out of here, they can get the hell out of here. So he reluctantly let them go, because, what could he do? And when they were about to board the plane, Jim Jones ordered some of his guys who had firearms to kill them all. And the congressman was killed, and a couple of other people were killed. Some former People's Temple members, and a few other people who were with the congressman. And Jim Jones, I don't know what the hell he was thinking when he decided to do that, because he knew that he didn't want these people to leave, but by killing the congressman, he sealed his fate, because he knew then that the United States was going to come after him, this time with a SWAT team or with special forces. But that's the thing I don't get. That was the stupidest idea, to send down a congressman to investigate this without any armed guards or anything. They had no weapons whatsoever, and that's why they were slaughtered the way they were. This congressman was the only congressman to ever die in the line of duty. So after he had them killed, he panicked and told his followers that they all had to commit suicide. Otherwise, the United States was going to come after them. And, a lot of people didn't want to do that, but he basically forced them to do it. The way he did it was he laced some grape juice with cyanide, with strychnine. And he forced them to drink it. This purple punch, grape flavored stuff. It was like a potion mixed in with strychnine. And 900 people drank and died. They were all killed. By the way, incidentally, if you were wondering where that phrase "drink the Kool-Aid," you maybe heard that phrase before. Oh, you're a follower. You're a sheep. You drink the Kool-Aid. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. That's where this phrase comes from. At the time, it was thought that that punch was Kool-Aid, the strychnine-laced punch, but it turns out it wasn't Kool-Aid, but that's where the phrase originates from. It means that you are a follower, you're a sheep. You're so dumb, hey, I'm going to drink the strychnine and kill myself along with my 900 cultist friends. If you're drinking the Kool-Aid, that means you're going along with the masses in a brainwashed orgy of stupidity. The other cult I'm going to briefly explain is the Aum Shinrikyo, which was founded by Shoko Asahara in Japan. And I don't know as much about this one, except that this guy was a fat loser, Shoko Asahara, who brainwashed people into following his cult. They started out by just giving out yoga lessons, and then from there they would give them more and more information about Aum Shinrikyo, but they wouldn't come out right away and tell people, this is Aum Shinrikyo, and you have to worship this fat guy. Oh, it's never done like that. It's always disguised behind something else. The Scientologists also do that. They don't come out and tell people that, hey, we believe in Xenu, and Xenu was an intergalactic alien guy who committed genocide against humans, who put them at the base of volcanoes and dropped H-bombs into the volcanoes. No, they never say that, even though that's what they believe. They disguise it behind all these self-help seminars, which you have to pay so much money for. And that's what Shoko Asahara did. He got so much money by gradually getting them to buy this thing or buy that thing, and then indoctrinating them into believing that they had to give up their money in order to purify themselves, in order to become a better person. And he even made them believe that by giving their money to him, he was carrying their burden. Yeah, he was carrying their burden with millions and millions of dollars in his pocket. It's incredible to think that people could be stupid enough to believe this, but it's not something that they just reveal right away. It's again done through these processes where they indoctrinate people over a long period of time, to the point of where at the very end they have gotten so used to this slow changing process, to the point of where they're willing to do things that they would have never done if they were in their normal state of mind. Okay, so let's talk about these leaders, and let's talk about Christianity. How is Christianity any different from these cult religious doctrines? It's not different at all. Christianity started out as an underground, small religious movement that was separate, that was not very well known at the time, and it was apart from the mainstream religion, which, of course, was Judaism at the time. It was started by Jesus, a prostitute, and 12 fanatical losers. They were all losers. Shoko Asahara and Jim Jones, what did they have in common? They were both losers. They both grew up in poverty. They both had poor families. They both had no money. They were losers. Shoko Asahara was blind in one eye and partially blind in the other. He was forced to go into acupuncture work, which was a typical job for someone who is disabled. It's not a prestigious practice to do. None of these people came from prestigious families. And if I can